This episode of Distraction is sponsored by Landmark College, offering comprehensive support for students with learning disabilities, ADHD, and ASD. Learn more at lcdistraction.org. Landmark College, we teach differently. Hello, this is Dr. Ned Hallowell with a mini episode of Distraction. Our ever open-eyed Sarah Gurton, our producer, she found an article from the Journal of the American Medical Association, a highly reputable journal, that reported an increase in diagnosis of ADHD between 1997 and 2016 from 6.1% of children to 10.2% of children. And then, of course, people were wondering why this increase. And she put this paper under my eyes and asked me to explain it. And, you know, the obvious reasons, good and bad, are put forth in the article. The good reason is, which I believe is true, more and more people are aware of ADHD, which is good. I like to think that I've had something to do with that. You know, we are educating the public, and more people are aware that there is a condition called ADHD. And so instead of telling kids they're undisciplined and they should try harder and they should be punished more severely, and we're understanding that their brains may be wired differently and that there are better ways to help them than punish them. And so they may get a medical diagnosis instead of what I call a moral diagnosis. Instead of being called bad, they may be diagnosed with ADHD, a term that I don't particularly like, but it's a lot better than bad. And so that's good news. More teachers, more doctors, more parents are aware of brain differences instead of moral differences. That's all to the good, and I applaud that. Now, in terms of negative reasons, there sometimes is a casual approach to making the diagnosis. Sometimes pediatricians, and they are the ones who do most of the diagnosing, are so rushed, and no fault on them, but the demand on their time is so intense, and plus with the way that insurance companies reimburse, if you're being asked to see 20 or 30 children in an hour, there's no way that you can do a thorough evaluation, you know, looking at history, getting teacher comments, doing testing. It's impossible. And you may overdiagnose. You get what we call false positives. And that may be part of it. And once again, I want to be very clear. In no way am I casting aspersions toward pediatricians. They're heroes. They work incredibly hard, and they are taking care of usually far more kids than they can. They're way overworked, and they're among the lowest paid of all medical specialties. Having had 3 children myself, I know how much I relied on our pediatrician and what a wonderful man he was. I love pediatricians, so I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying that there's no way, given their time constraints, that they can do a full and thorough evaluation. If you go to a child psychiatrist, we have more time, but we're as rare as hen's teeth. It's very hard to find a child psychiatrist. We are one of the most underpopulated of all medical specialties, so it's simply hard to find one. Another reason, actually, that the condition gets underdiagnosed is a lot of girls have it, and they aren't diagnosed because they're not hyperactive. They're not disruptive. And these are the little girls who simply sit quietly in the back of the room daydreaming. And the diagnosis gets missed in her, and she is part of what we call false negatives. A lot of girls and adult women never get diagnosed because people don't think of it, because they don't show any of the signs of hyperactivity or being disruptive. Until we have a foolproof physical test in the form of a brain scan or a blood test or some kind of physical test that can be done quickly. We're going to be getting false positives and false negatives unless someone can take enough time to make it more definitely. If you come to see me, I have enough time to do that, but most people don't have enough time. And that's why, you get these fluctuating rates. Basically, it's good news that more people know about the condition. That's really good news. And so kids aren't being, beaten and condemned the way they were a generation ago. There is still stigma, however, and we really need to work on reducing that. There are still children being diminished in their own eyes and in the eyes of others because they can't do tasks that other kids can do, and then a moral value is put on those tasks. And as Carol Dweck has pointed out, if you don't believe you can do something, that reduces the chances that you will be able to do it. But if you do believe you can do something, that increases the chances you'll do it. So we ought to be encouraging in all of our children. Henry Ford got it right when he said many years ago, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. This is Dr. Ned Hallowell for Distraction. If you have a question for me or a show idea for us, email it to connect@distractionpodcast.com. Or better yet, call us and leave a voicemail. Call 844-55-CONNECT and leave us a message. We really look forward to hearing from you. We need to hear from you. We look forward to hearing from you. We want to hear from you. So 844-55-CONNECT or email at connect@distractionpodcast.com. Distraction is produced by Collisions, the podcast division of CRN International. Collisions, podcasts for curious people. Our editor is the very intelligent Chris Latham. Our producer is the inimitable, brilliant, imaginative Sarah Gurton. Our audio engineers are the brilliant and ever-creative Roman Zeitlin and the absolutely always reliable Pat Keogh.